I think an unhealthy relationship is people arguing all the time and hurting each other mentally or physically.
One person would be overpowered,
nervous to say what you feel to them because they might find their partner intimidating or manipulative.
EdShift is a community interest company that works with children, and we provide early intervention programmes and domestic violence prevention programmes.
In lockdown, domestic violence massively increased, and in just the first 2 weeks in England there were 16 deaths. 2 of those were children, 14 were women. EdShift then set up the SpotLight programme in response to that.
Our SpotLight early intervention programme supports children that are actually living with domestic violence, and as a way to also combat the links between children that are exposed to DV when they're younger and the likelihood of them then entering a domestically violent relationship either as a perpetrator or a victim. We also run our domestic and sexual violence prevention programme in schools, providing relationship sex education, but quality, effective, arts-based relationship sex education.
I'm in year 9 and the school hasn't put a lot of time to teach us about healthy and unhealthy relationships.
I think I've only had 2 form time sessions on relationship advice and that's about it.
People at EdShift, they help people see what unhealthy and healthy relationships look like.
To make people feel better in themselves.
To help people understand the partners and not get into abusive relationships.
I was looking at the referrals that we've received over the past 18 months, and 47% of those children and young people had witnessed a serious crime with the use of a weapon. 17% are also displaying harmful behaviours themselves, so they're at risk of exploitation, so that's either sexual exploitation or criminal exploitation. That actually gets me quite choked up, to be honest.
Every morning when I come in, I log on to the Domestic Abuse Hub in the Calderdale region to input information, and it can vary from 1 referral one day to a maximum of 10 referrals another day, but it does vary from day to day, and that is just in the Calderdale region alone. The incidents can occur from verbal abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, coercion, rape, control, substance abuse, alcohol abuse. It's just horrendous.
I think it's important to say that the children that we work with are from mixed backgrounds. So domestic abuse and domestic violence, it's not an issue just in areas of poverty. It literally can be from any background, race, creed, colour. Domestic violence and domestic abuse are in all walks of life.
1 in 4 men will experience an abusive relationship.
80% of 16 to 17-year-olds reported to being in a controlling and jealous relationship.
85,000 women are raped in the UK every year.
Some of the children that we speak to are just amazingly resilient, that the lives that they've had and things they've experienced, and that they still can be so positive.
We're working with the children that have got that lived experience. They're telling us all of their stories, everything that they're going through, and we're able to take that feedback and we're able to then use that feedback to design that relationship sex education programme. So we're constantly innovating, we're constantly working with those that have got lived experience and then planning these programmes so that we're preventing DV as well. So it's early intervention and prevention.
EdShift have lots of different activities to help people cope with what's going on at home. So artwork's really important for helping people process their emotions.
When I do my art and I'm colouring and drawing, I just draw down what I'm feeling. It made my confidence boost.
One of my favourite activities is making masks. I made the mask for my little sister Skylar. She's just moved in with us.
For me, it feels like we're at a crisis point. For EdShift to deal with the demand and to still be able to provide quality support and provision, we'd need to quadruple and quadruple in the amount of funding that we're allocating currently. Funding is vital because this is a specialist role and it requires specific qualifications, life experience, and it's not necessarily a role that we could employ or recruit volunteers for, because what might happen then is that once those volunteers have left, then you're left with that vulnerable person without that really vital support, which can then lead them to further crisis and further trauma.
It's quite scary that there are a lot of young people out there needing our help, needing some kind of release and guidance. And ultimately that comes down to funding. There needs to be more practitioners running the programme with the face-to-face contact with the kids. And we are dealing with just the high-risk cases at the moment. The danger with that is that the low-risk kids can become high-risk because they almost go under the radar. So that's a massive concern. And it is person-centred. It's all about what those children and young people need to get through the things that they've seen and experienced.